I still remember the lunch bell ringing on that September afternoon in 10th grade. I grabbed my backpack filled with homemade chin-chin and plantain chips, heading toward the school courtyard. My hands were sweaty as I approached the benches where students gathered. Snacks for sale. Fresh chin-chin and plantain chips. I called out, voice cracking with nervousness. Laughter erupted immediately. Trevor and his friends pointed at me, barely containing their amusement. "Look at Samuel the snack boy." Trevor shouted, "Your mom packed those in her kitchen." My face burned with embarrassment. Yes, Mom had made them in our tiny kitchen that morning. We needed the money. Dad had lost his job 3 months ago, and Mom's sewing business barely covered rent. "How much?" a quiet voice asked. It was Grace, a girl from my math class. 50 naira each, I replied, grateful for a real customer. She bought 2 bags. Trevor watched, shaking his head. "Grace, why waste money on that? We can buy real snacks from the cafeteria." But I didn't care about Trevor's opinion. I'd made 100 naira. It was a start. That night, I counted my earnings, 400 naira total. I'd sold 8 bags. It wasn't much, but it felt like victory. The mockery continued for weeks. Every lunch period, I'd bring my snacks, and Trevor's group would make jokes. "Here comes the street vendor," they'd laugh. "Maybe next he'll sell pure water from a bucket." Their words stung, but something else happened. More students started buying. They discovered Mom's snacks were actually delicious and cheaper than cafeteria prices. By the second month, I was selling 20 bags daily. I kept careful records in a small notebook: expenses, sales, profit. Mom noticed my dedication. "You're serious about this business thing," she said one evening. "Yes, Mama. I want to grow it bigger." Dad, who'd been depressed since losing his job, finally smiled. "That's my son. Always thinking." I started researching. I went to the library after school, reading books about business and food production. I learned about scaling, marketing, and profit margins. I discovered that successful businesses started small, just like mine. Trevor and his friends continued their mockery, but I noticed something. While they spent their parents' money carelessly, I was building something real. They laughed at me now, but I was learning lessons they'd never learn. One day, Grace approached me after buying her usual snacks. "Samuel, don't listen to them. What you're doing is smart. My dad owns a restaurant, and he says entrepreneurship is the future." Her words encouraged me more than she knew. By 11th grade, my snack business had evolved. I convinced 3 other students to help me sell during different lunch periods. I paid them a small commission, and we covered more ground. Sales tripled, but Trevor's mockery intensified. "Now he's running a snack cartel," he announced one day. "What's next, Samuel?" "A corner store." Actually, yes. That was exactly my plan. I'd saved 15,000 naira after a year of selling. It wasn't much, but it was seed money. I talked to Mr. Adebayo, the school's business studies teacher. He was impressed with my initiative. "Samuel, you're already running a small business. Most students just study theory. You're living it," he said, reviewing my notebook of records. "Have you thought about expanding beyond school?" I had. I wanted to sell at youth church meetings and neighborhood events. Mr. Adebayo helped me get permission to set up a small table at the monthly community market. My first market day was nerve-wracking. Professional vendors surrounded me with their established stalls. But I prepared well: attractive packaging, fair prices, and Mom's unbeatable recipes. I sold out within 3 hours. 200 bags gone. My profit was 8,000 naira in one day. It was more than I'd made in my first 2 months at school. That's when I realized this could be bigger than just pocket money. This could be real. Senior year brought new challenges and opportunities. I needed to focus on final exams, but my business was growing too fast to ignore. I hired my younger sister Joy to help with weekend market sales while I studied. Trevor and his friends were busy planning which universities their parents would send them to. They'd mock me between classes. "Samuel's still selling snacks like a primary school kid," Trevor's friend Marcus would say. "Meanwhile, we're going to study abroad." I didn't respond. I was too busy calculating how to scale production. Mom's kitchen couldn't keep up with demand anymore. I needed a bigger space and more workers. Mr. Adebayo introduced me to a retired banker, Mr. Okafor, who mentored young entrepreneurs. Mr. Okafor reviewed my business model and was impressed. "You're 17 and running a profitable business with proper records," he said. "Most adults can't do this. Have you considered taking a loan to expand?" A loan scared me. What if I failed? But Mr. Okafor explained how small business loans worked. He connected me with a microfinance bank that specialized in helping young entrepreneurs. I applied for 50,000 naira. The application required a business plan, which Mr. Adebayo helped me write. 2 weeks later, I got approved. 50,000 naira. It felt like $1 million. With that money, I rented a small shop in our neighborhood and hired 2 women to help with production. We were no longer just a school snack operation. We were real business. Graduation came with mixed emotions. I passed my exams well enough to get into the local polytechnic, but barely. My grades suffered because I'd focused heavily on the business. Trevor and his friends were heading to expensive universities. "Good luck with your snack business, Samuel," Trevor said on graduation day, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "I'm sure you'll go far selling chin-chin." His friends laughed, but I noticed something in Trevor's eyes, not just mockery, but maybe a hint of uncertainty. Despite their big plans, none of them had ever earned their own money. They didn't know if they could survive without their parents' support. I enrolled in Polytechnic for business administration, attending evening classes while running my business during the day. It was exhausting, but I was learning practical skills while applying them immediately. The small shop was thriving. We'd expanded our product line, adding puff-puff, meat pies, and small chops to the menu. Sales grew to 50,000 naira weekly, with profits of about 15,000. I started supplying schools, offices, and event centers. My sister Joy joined full-time after finishing secondary school, handling deliveries while I managed production and sales. 1 year after graduation, I had 5 employees and was operating from a larger rented facility. My classmates were still in university, living on allowances. I was employing people and paying salaries. The difference was becoming clear. 2 years into running the business, a major opportunity emerged. A corporate client wanted to order snacks for their monthly staff meetings, 500 bags monthly. It was my biggest order yet, but I couldn't fulfill it with my current setup. I needed to make a bold move. I applied for a larger loan, 200,000 naira, to buy commercial equipment and move to an even bigger space. The bank approved it because my business had a solid track record. I found a warehouse space and bought industrial fryers, packaging machines, and storage equipment. I hired 10 more workers. We weren't just a snack business anymore. We were becoming a small manufacturing operation. Mr. Okafor, my mentor, was proud. "Samuel, you're 20 years old and running a manufacturing business. Do you understand how rare that is?" I didn't think of myself as special. I just worked hard, learned constantly, and reinvested profits. But Mr. Okafor was right. Most people my age were still dependent on parents or just starting entry-level jobs. The corporate contract was renewed every quarter. Then 2 more companies requested similar orders. I had to hire 5 more workers to keep up. By my 3rd year of operation, I employed 20 people and was generating 300,000 naira monthly in revenue. After expenses and loan payments, I was taking home about 80,000 naira monthly, more than many university graduates earned. I started seeing my former classmates around town during holidays. The first reunion happened accidentally at a local restaurant. I was meeting with a potential supplier when I spotted Trevor and Marcus at another table. They were with other former classmates, all home for semester break. Trevor saw me and waved. "Samuel, the snack king, come join us." The tone was still slightly mocking, but less confident than before. I walked over, shaking hands. They asked about my business. "It's going well," I said simply. "We're supplying several corporate clients now." "That's actually cool," Marcus admitted. "I'm studying engineering, but honestly, I have no idea what I'll do after graduation. Jobs are scarce." Trevor was quieter than usual. When I asked about his studies abroad, he shrugged. "It's fine. Expensive, though. My dad's struggling to keep up with the fees." Interesting. The mockery had diminished because reality was setting in. They were realizing that degrees didn't guarantee success, and their parents' money wouldn't last forever. Grace was there too. She'd always been kind to me. "Samuel, I heard about your business from my dad. He said you're doing really well." "That's amazing." We talked for a while. She was studying business administration at a university, planning to help expand her father's restaurant chain after graduation. Before leaving, Trevor said something unexpected. "Hey, Samuel, if you ever need university graduates to work for you, let me know. I might need a job when I finish." He said it like a joke, but his eyes were serious. The snack boy they'd mocked was becoming someone they might need someday. Year 4 marked a major turning point. A supermarket chain contacted me about stocking our products. They'd heard positive feedback from customers and wanted to feature us in 15 stores across the state. This was huge, a distribution deal that would multiply our sales tenfold. But it came with requirements: professional packaging, consistent quality control, proper licensing, and the ability to supply large volumes reliably. I took another loan, 500,000 naira this time, and transformed the operation entirely. I registered the business officially as Samuel's Delights Limited. I hired a food technologist to ensure quality control. I invested in professional packaging with our logo and nutritional information. The warehouse was upgraded to meet food safety standards. I bought delivery vans. I hired 30 people total now, including a manager to oversee daily operations while I focused on business development. Mr. Okafor helped me navigate the complex requirements: business registration, tax compliance, health permits. It was overwhelming but necessary. When our products finally hit supermarket shelves, I felt surreal. Just 5 years ago, I was selling homemade snacks from my backpack, getting mocked by classmates. Now our brand was in major stores. Sales exploded. We went from 300,000 monthly to over 2 million naira monthly in revenue. After all expenses, my personal income was around 400,000 naira monthly. I was 22 years old, a millionaire on paper, employing over 30 people. My parents cried when I bought them a small house. The real irony happened during the Christmas holidays of my 5th year in business. Trevor reached out via Facebook message. "Hey Samuel, remember me? I'm graduating soon and looking for job opportunities. I heard your company is doing well. Any openings?" I stared at the message for a long time. Trevor, the same guy who'd mocked me relentlessly, who'd called me snack boy with such derision, was now asking me for a job. Part of me wanted to ignore it or send a petty response. But Mom's voice echoed in my head. Success is not about revenge. It's about building something good. I replied professionally. "Hi, Trevor. Yes, I remember you. We're actually hiring for several positions. Send me your CV." He did. Economics degree from a decent university, but no real work experience beyond a few internships. Honestly, it was a standard graduate CV, nothing special. I brought him in for an interview. He arrived in a suit, looking nervous. The cocky teenager was gone, replaced by an uncertain young man, facing the reality of job hunting in a tough economy. "Thank you for this opportunity, Samuel," he said, shaking my hand. "I know we weren't. I wasn't the best classmate to you. I'm sorry about that." The apology seemed genuine. We discussed the role, sales representative for our supermarket accounts. The salary was 150,000 naira monthly, decent for a graduate's first job. I hired Trevor, along with 2 other former classmates who'd also applied, Marcus and Daniel. They'd all graduated and discovered that their degrees weren't automatic tickets to success. The job market was brutal, and they needed work. Their first day was surreal for all of us. They arrived at the factory wearing company uniforms, ready to take orders from me, the guy they'd mocked for selling snacks. I gathered all new employees, including my former classmates, for orientation. "Welcome to Samuel's Delights. We're family here. I don't care about your background or education. I care about your work ethic and willingness to learn. Treat everyone with respect, work hard, and we'll grow together." Trevor looked uncomfortable but attentive. During their first week, I watched them adjust to the reality of working. They had to wake up early, follow instructions, meet sales targets, and prove their value. No more living on parents' money or coasting through life. One evening, Trevor stayed late to finish a report. I was in my office, reviewing finances. He knocked. "Samuel, can I talk to you?" "Sure, come in." He sat down, looking genuinely humble. "I've been thinking about everything this week. About how I treated you in school, and where we both are now. I was an idiot. You were building something real while I was just wasting time." I leaned back. "We were kids, Trevor. You didn't know better. Still, I'm sorry. And I'm grateful you gave me this chance." Over the next months, Trevor proved himself to be a solid employee. He was good with clients, met his targets, and showed genuine dedication. Marcus and Daniel worked hard too. They'd all learned that real life was different from the protected bubble of school and university. The business continued growing. We expanded to 45 employees. We started exporting to neighboring countries. Our revenue hit 5 million naira monthly. I moved the operation to an even larger facility, an actual factory now, not just a warehouse. Mr. Okafor convinced me to hire a proper management team. I brought in an operations manager, a finance director, and a head of sales. I was learning to delegate, to build systems that didn't depend entirely on me. Grace, who'd always been kind during school, reached out. She'd graduated and was working at her father's restaurant chain. "Samuel, I heard you're supplying major supermarkets now. That's incredible. Would you be interested in supplying our restaurant chain too?" We met and negotiated a deal. Her father's chain had 20 locations. It became one of our biggest contracts. During the meeting, Grace said something that stuck with me. "You know what impresses me most, Samuel? Not just your success, but how you've treated people. You hired classmates who mocked you. You're employing people from our neighborhood who need work. You're building something that helps others, not just yourself." I'd never thought of it that way, but she was right. Year 7 brought the ultimate validation. A national business magazine featured Samuel's Delights as one of Nigeria's most promising SMEs. The article detailed my journey from schoolyard snack seller to factory owner. They interviewed me, Trevor, and other employees. Trevor was honest in his interview. "I mocked Samuel in school for selling snacks. Now I work for him, and I'm grateful. He's taught me more about real success than university ever did." The article went viral on social media. Former classmates reached out, some congratulating me, others asking for jobs or business advice. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The most surprising call came from my old school. The principal invited me to speak at their career day. Me, the kid who'd barely passed, who'd been mocked for selling snacks in the courtyard. I accepted. When I arrived at the school, memories flooded back. The courtyard where I'd made my first sales. The benches where Trevor and his friends had laughed at me. The classrooms where I'd struggled to focus because I was thinking about business. The principal introduced me to hundreds of students. Samuel Martinez is proof that success comes in many forms. He started selling snacks right here in our courtyard at 16. Today, at 24, he owns a factory employing 50 people and generating millions in revenue monthly. The students stared at me with a mix of curiosity and respect. I saw a few kids in the back who looked poor, uncomfortable, like I'd been. I made sure to direct my speech to them. "I'm not going to tell you that school doesn't matter," I began. "Education is important, but I will tell you that there are many paths to success, and they don't all involve perfect grades or expensive universities." I shared my story, the mockery, the struggle, the determination. I pulled out my old notebook, where I tracked those first sales. This notebook represents something crucial: discipline and record keeping. I might not have been great at school subjects, but I was excellent at tracking my business. I saw the poor kids in the back, sitting up straighter, paying attention. Some of you might be struggling academically. That doesn't mean you're stupid or destined to fail. Maybe you're just being measured by the wrong metrics. Find what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and pursue it relentlessly. After my speech, several students approached with questions. One boy, about 15, reminded me of myself. "Sir, I sell recharge cards at school, and other students laugh at me. Should I stop?" I knelt to his level. Never stop because others laugh. They laugh because they don't understand what you're building. Keep going. Keep records. Learn everything you can. In 10 years, they might be asking you for jobs. The boy's eyes lit up with determination. I gave him my contact information. Stay in touch. Let me know how it goes. As I left the school, I felt something deeper than pride. I felt purpose. My journey wasn't just about personal success. It was about showing others what's possible. Today, Samuel's Delights operates from a modern factory facility with 70 employees. We supply over 200 retail outlets across Nigeria and 3 neighboring countries. Our annual revenue exceeds 80 million naira. But the numbers aren't what matter most to me. What matters is the impact. 70 families depend on the jobs we provide. Dozens of small suppliers partner with us. We've inspired other young entrepreneurs to start their own businesses. Trevor is now my sales manager, leading a team of 15. He's excellent at his job and has become a genuine friend. We've never discussed the old mockery anymore. It's irrelevant. Last month, he knocked on my office door with an unusual request. Samuel, my younger brother, is in secondary school now. He's thinking about starting a small business, selling things to classmates. But he's worried about being mocked like I mocked you. Can you talk to him? I agreed immediately. Trevor brought his brother, a nervous 15-year-old named Emmanuel, to the factory for a tour. Emmanuel's eyes were wide as I showed him the production lines, the packaging area, the warehouse full of products. This all started from selling snacks at school, he asked, amazed. Every big thing starts small, I told him. The mockery? It's just noise. Block it out and focus on building something real. Trevor watched the conversation with emotion in his eyes. Later, he thanked me. You didn't have to be this kind. After everything, everyone deserves a chance to grow, Trevor. Even people who made mistakes. Standing in my factory today, watching workers package products that will reach thousands of customers, I often think about that scared 16-year-old with a backpack full of snacks. The classmates who laugh don't laugh anymore. Some work for me. Others ask for advice or job referrals. The mockery that once hurt has become irrelevant. But here's what I've learned. Success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about taking that small idea, that hustle nobody respects, and building it into something undeniable. Trevor and I sometimes talk about the old days during lunch breaks. You know what's crazy? He said recently. We spent all our time in school worrying about being cool, mocking guys like you. Meanwhile, you were building real skills and real value. We wasted time. You invested it. He's right. While they focused on social status, I focused on building something meaningful. While they spent money, I made money. While they laughed, I learned. Mom still makes some of our original recipes, though now they're produced at massive scale. Dad works as our logistics coordinator, finally finding purpose again. Joy manages our marketing department. We're truly a family business. The boy who sold snacks from his backpack now runs a factory. The classmates who mocked him now work under his leadership. But the real victory isn't their employment or my wealth. The real victory is that I took pain and turned it into purpose. I took mockery and turned it into motivation. I took a small hustle and turned it into something that feeds families, creates opportunities, and proves that anyone can succeed if they're willing to work for it. Trevor was wrong about me, but I'm glad he was wrong, because his wrongness pushed me to prove what I was capable of. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building something so undeniable that the mockers become believers, the doubters become supporters, and the laughter becomes applause. My classmates laughed when I sold snacks. Now they work in my factory. And honestly, I'm glad they do. Because their presence reminds me daily that the path others mock might just be the path to everything you've dreamed of. The snack boy became the factory owner. And that's just the beginning of the story.